She said, "People noticed the difference between you and them." At the dinner table, her voice was steady. She didn't pause. Plates were already set. Cutlery was aligned on folded napkins. I remained quiet. A glass touched the table. Someone shifted their chair slightly. The dinner took place in a private dining room. Long rectangular table. Soft overhead lighting. 10 place settings were arranged. 8 were occupied. 2 seats remained empty at the far end. Plates were identical. White porcelain. Cutlery aligned on folded napkins. Water glasses were filled halfway. Wine glasses were placed above the knives. Bread plates sat to the left. Serving staff moved along the perimeter. They spoke quietly to each other. Plates were delivered in sequence. Salad was served first. Main course followed. Dessert plates were stacked on a side table. Conversation moved in short turns. People spoke while eating. Others waited before responding. She sat near the center of the table. Her seat was closest to the host. Guests addressed her more often. 2 guests beside her leaned in when speaking. They kept their chairs angled toward her. I sat on the opposite side, between 2 guests who spoke less. Staff cleared plates as courses ended. Silverware clinked softly. Chairs shifted as people adjusted posture. The room noise stayed low. Voices overlapped briefly. The sequence continued without interruption. She placed her fork down. She looked across the table. She said, "People noticed the difference between you and them." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't specify who she meant. One guest continued chewing. Another lifted a glass. No one responded to the statement. I stayed seated. My hands rested near my plate. She turned back to the person beside her. The conversation resumed. A server cleared a plate near the end of the table. The sound was brief. I adjusted my napkin. I placed it back on my lap. I looked down at my plate, then back up. I took a sip of water. The glass touched the table softly. I listened to the conversation continue. Topics changed without pause. Someone laughed once. Another nodded while listening. I stayed still. I didn't add to the discussion. The serving staff returned with dessert plates. They were placed one by one. A server cleared a plate near the end of the table. The sound was brief. When the dinner concluded, chairs moved back from the table. People stood in small groups. Some gathered near the door. I stood and pushed my chair in. It slid under the table. I walked toward the side of the room. I waited near the coat rack. Voices continued behind me. Plates were stacked. I picked up my coat. I left the room with the others. I stayed still. I didn't add to the discussion. The serving staff returned with dessert plates. They were placed one by one. A server cleared a plate near the end of the table. The sound was brief.